You know that feeling when you are genuinely exhausted? Heavy eyes, slow thoughts, everything in your body begging to shut down. And then the moment your head hits the pillow, your brain just wakes up, like it was waiting for you. Suddenly, it wants to process the conversation you had 3 days ago. It wants to run through tomorrow's entire schedule. It wants to revisit every decision you made this week and judge each one from the top. And there you are, staring at the ceiling at 11:47 p.m., doing math on how many hours of sleep you will get if you fall asleep right now. Then recalculating again. You have probably tried all the standard advice. The no screens rule, the melatonin, counting backwards from 300, maybe even a sleep meditation that you fell asleep to for 2 nights and then stopped working entirely. And every morning after a rough night, you wake up a little more convinced that something is just fundamentally off with how your brain handles sleep. Here is what I want you to know before we go any further. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is not broken, and you are not someone who simply cannot sleep. What is happening is biological, and once you understand it, you can work with it instead of fighting it every single night. Here is the truth most sleep advice completely misses. Falling asleep is not something your brain does when you try hard enough. It is something your brain does when it receives a specific biological signal that the conditions are safe for unconsciousness. That signal is called a drop in core body temperature, a rise in a hormone called adenosine, your body's natural sleep pressure, and a slowdown in your nervous system's arousal state. The reason you lie there wired and exhausted at the same time is that your body has the sleep pressure, but your nervous system is still in low-level alert mode. It's like having a full tank of gas, but the parking brake is still on. The engine is ready. The brake is the problem. Every trick I'm about to share targets that brake directly, not with drugs, not with supplements, with your own biology. I'm going to give you 5 organic tricks to fall asleep faster tonight. Each one is body-based, requires 0 equipment, and takes under 2 minutes. But trick number 5, stay with me for that one. It's the one that looks the most passive, but works at the deepest structural level. Dr. Matthew Walker at UC Berkeley, one of the world's leading sleep scientists, points to this kind of practice as the difference between people who occasionally sleep well and people who sleep well as their biological default. Miss it and the other 4 will help you tonight. With it, they start helping you permanently. So do not leave before we get there. Most people try to get warm to fall asleep. A hot bath, thick blankets, a heated room. The intention makes sense. It feels cozy. But the biology is completely backwards. Your brain initiates sleep by dropping your core body temperature by 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit. It's not a side effect of sleep. It's the trigger for it. Researchers at the Netherlands Institute for Neuroscience found that warming your hands and feet, not your core, is what actually accelerates this process. When blood flows to your extremities, heat escapes from your body's surface, and your core temperature drops faster. The brain reads that drop as a green light to release melatonin, your body's natural sleep hormone, and begin the descent into sleep. Here's how to use this tonight. In the 30 minutes before bed, take a warm shower or soak your feet in warm water for just 5 minutes. Then let yourself air dry. Do not bundle up immediately. Let your body release that surface heat into the cool air. That contrast, warm skin meeting cooler room temperature, drives your core temperature down fast. Think of it like a hot air balloon releasing ballast. The warmth on the outside is what allows the core to drop. You're not getting cozy. You're giving your brain the temperature signal it needs to let go. When you feel that specific coolness settling into your skin after a warm shower, that's not just comfort. That's your biology preparing for sleep. And that's just the first unlock. The second one works on an entirely different system. There is a place in your body where you hold almost all of your day's tension without realizing it. And you are probably doing it right now. Your jaw. Chronic jaw clenching and teeth grinding during the day, and especially at night, keeps your trigeminal nerve activated. The trigeminal nerve is the largest cranial nerve in your face, and it has a direct line to your brainstem's arousal center, the part of your brain that decides whether to stay alert or stand down. When your jaw is tight, that nerve keeps sending low-level activation signals upward, like a light left on in a room where everyone has gone to bed. Here's the technique. Lie down, Drop your tongue away from the roof of your mouth and let your molars gently separate, just 2 or 3 millimeters of space between your upper and lower teeth. Hold that position for 30 seconds while taking slow, natural breaths. You will feel the tension dissolve from your temples, your cheekbones, and often your shoulders almost immediately. This is not relaxation in the vague sense. You are physically deactivating a nerve pathway that was quietly keeping your brainstem on standby alert. Most people have never consciously relaxed their jaw in their entire lives. The moment you do, your whole face changes, and your nervous system follows. Now the body is releasing, but your mind still has unfinished business. That is what the next one handles. Here is something that will change how you understand what happens when your brain refuses to sleep. Your mind at night is not just busy, it is problem-solving. Your default executive system, the part of your brain responsible for planning, evaluating, and preparing for future scenarios, does not receive a shutdown command when you lie down. It keeps running, and it keeps running because it is waiting for a signal that says the environment is no longer requiring its attention. The cognitive shuffle was developed by cognitive scientist Dr. Luc Beaulieu-Prevost at the Université du Québec, and it works by deliberately feeding your mind random, meaningless, non-sequential imagery, scrambling the narrative thread your executive brain needs to stay in problem-solving mode. Here's how to do it. Close your eyes and picture a simple random word, any word, something neutral like the word apple. Now visualize it for 3 seconds, then jump to a completely unrelated image, a yellow boat, 3 seconds, then a door handle, a cloud shaped like a boot, a candle, a parking lot. Keep jumping, deliberately incoherent, deliberately random. What you're doing is flooding your visual cortex with non-narrative content, cutting the logical thread your planning mind needs to keep spinning. It's like throwing sand into a gear. The gears can't catch. Most people fall asleep within 7 to 10 minutes of starting this. The randomness is not the point. The interruption of sequential thinking is. Your brain cannot plan and shuffle simultaneously, and planning is what was keeping you awake. That takes care of the wandering mind. But there are 2 layers left, and the next one is the one most people are doing completely in reverse. You already know the feeling of being so tired you can barely keep your eyes open. That feeling has a name and a mechanism. It's adenosine pressure, a chemical that accumulates in your brain from the moment you wake up, building steadily throughout the day, and that your brain clears while you sleep. Here's where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves. Napping too late, going to bed too early, or lying in bed awake for long stretches all do the same thing. They bleed off sleep pressure before it reaches its peak. And a low-pressure sleep attempt is like trying to fall backwards into a shallow pool. There's not enough depth to sink into. The fix is simple and takes no effort. Set a consistent wake time, the same time every single morning, and protect it regardless of when you fell asleep the night before. Sleep scientists at Harvard Medical School call this anchoring your circadian rhythm, your body's 24-hour internal clock. When your wake time is fixed, your sleep pressure builds on a predictable schedule. By the time your target bedtime arrives, the pressure is deep enough to pull you under quickly and keep you there. 21 days of a consistent wake time is enough to restructure your sleep architecture, the internal sequence of sleep stages your brain cycles through each night. The result is not just falling asleep faster, it's sleeping more deeply, recovering more fully, and waking up already ahead. The pressure does the work. You just have to stop relieving it too early. One more. This is the one I told you about at the beginning, and I want you to stay with me, because this is where everything changes.
This last one is going to feel different from the others. It is not a physical technique. It is a cognitive shift, and it is the one that determines whether tonight is a good sleep or whether every night can be. Here is what nobody tells you about chronic sleeplessness. The moment you start monitoring your own sleep, checking how many hours you got, rating the quality in your head, calculating whether you will function tomorrow. You have introduced a variable that makes sleep neurologically harder. Researchers at Harvard's Division of Sleep Medicine call this sleep-effort paradox. The more intentional effort you apply to falling asleep, the more you activate your brain's arousal system, which is the exact system sleep needs to power down. Trying to sleep is the one thing that makes sleep harder. And the people who sleep effortlessly are not doing something more, they are doing something less. Dr. Daniel Buse at the University of Pittsburgh, one of the world's foremost sleep researchers, found that patients who shifted from a performance mindset around sleep, I need to fall asleep, I have to get 8 hours, I cannot afford a bad night, to a permissive mindset, my body knows how to do this and I am just giving it the conditions, showed measurable improvements in sleep onset time within 2 weeks without any other intervention. The technique takes 60 seconds. As you lie in bed tonight, say this internally, not as a wish, but as a statement of permission. My body has been falling asleep my entire life, and it knows how to do it tonight. Then release the watch. Stop scoring yourself. Stop calculating. Stop trying. Think of it like this. Sleep is like a cat. Chase it and it disappears. Sit still and it comes to you. You are not someone who struggles to sleep. You are someone who has been trying too hard to do something that works best when you stop trying. That distinction is not small. That distinction is the whole thing. Sleep is not something you earn after a perfect wind-down routine. It is something your body already knows how to do. Everything you just learned is about removing what gets in the way. You now know how to trigger your body's temperature drop on purpose. You know how to release the nerve tension that keeps your brainstem on alert. You know how to cut your planning mind's thread with deliberate mental randomness. You know how to build the pressure that pulls you under fast, and you know how to stop being in your own way entirely. You do not need a perfect night to start. You just need tonight. Your body is ready. It has been ready every night. Now you know how to let it. Share this with someone who says they're just a bad sleeper, because there is no such thing as a bad sleeper. There is only a nervous system that has never been given the right signal. Save this one. Come back to it tomorrow night and the night after. The rewiring does not happen from reading it once. It happens from doing it until your body stops needing the reminder.